2 seconds here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Santa's Magical Fellowship Group. Today, August 29th, 2024, I will be getting out of your hair. My name is Santa Mel. For those of you who don't know me, we'll be broadcasting now on our new YouTube channel after I upload this video later. But we have a surprise treat for tonight. I am excited to introduce not only amazing Santa, a wonderful Christmas performer, but probably one of the most amazing friends a person can have. Chris Terry is going to talk tonight. Well, his topics is the topic of topics. So I'm going to turn the show over to Chris. Chris, welcome. Thank you so much for hosting. And this show is yours, my friend.
Well, thank you very much, Santa Mel.
You're welcome.
I'm excited. And actually, this is the topic of topics. I'm kind of doing this because as part of MAPS next year, I might be helping a little bit with the Red Suit Conclave, and I kind of want to get it a little bit of voice of the customer. I worked in automotive for a long time, and part of our design, when we were doing new designs for stuff, we would get voice of the customer. We wanted to find out what our customer wanted, and I guess I consider myself a customer. What kind of things do I want to learn? And I know that, as I think it was Santa Gary was saying, you can never stop, or Kevin can never stop learning. You never want to stop learning. And my topic on topics is I would like to find out what kind of topics are we've all been to multiple Santa schools, I'm sure, or most of us. And we've had favorite topics that we've learned about. But there's topics out there that haven't been discussed, and maybe that's something we could focus on. What areas or what topics do you think need more time or training? So I first off wondered, what are some of the favorite topics? Does anybody have a favorite topic that's covered during your classes in the various Santa schools?
I do enjoy the improv.
I was just about to say that.
I do too. And to tell you the truth, I have such a problem with improv because once I'm in a big group of people like that, I start to kind of, get in my little shell. And to watch Herbie, for those of you who know Herbie, he's just amazing. There's nothing that he can't just do in the middle of a group or a crowd of people. And I'm just not there yet. So improv is something I definitely need to work on. And I think the Michaels have done improv for us. And have any of you been to the CPW workshops at all with Santa True? Ben?
No.
No, he really covers some of the improv really well, really well. But anyone else is improv an area that you would like to be more involved in, and what's holding you back?
Well, it's not so much that it's holding me back. It's just that I don't feel comfortable doing it yet. It's something that like I say, I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone too.
It's difficult.
Being more of an entertainer for the kids rather than just sitting in a chair and taking pictures and what do you want for Christmas, that's where most of my jobs lie.
Hey fellas, sorry I'm late.
Glad you made it.
Thank you. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah,
but that's that's what I need to work on, is the improv part of it. Yeah,
And the only way to do it is to do it. And that's
let's
where
just do it. Yeah.
and that's where I always, you know, I have these big plans, and then I'm there at the school, and you know, they ask for a volunteer, and I'm like, oh no, you know, I just don't take that walk forward. So, um,
Yeah.
anyone else? You know,
Another thing that seems to have been very popular is um, magic tricks. But I think
Yes.
one of our problems that we've run into is we've gotten through all the little simple ones, and now we're into the ones that are going to cost you $300 or $400. And
oh,
to start your Santa magic stuff with that. I think a good class would be inexpensive, easy to do magic. And believe me, there is a lot of inexpensive, easy to do magic out there. I've got 5 or 6 tricks that I do that really cost you nothing. You do them with Kleenex, you do a lock bag, you know, you do stuff like that is something really good to show. And I love Randall, but the coloring books and stuff that if you want to buy one, they're $50. If you want to make one, it's a long time in making one. And if you're like me, it's always on the to-do list, but never gets done.
yeah,
So,
yeah. The
I-
encyclopedia to-do list.
Those
Uh,
coloring books, you can pick them up at Amazon for $14.
Oh,
I have seen those, and they're little, and they don't really work after about 3 times flipping through them.
Yeah, yeah. I've
Yeah.
got one that I've used for 3 years now, and
Well, it must not be the ones that I've seen, because
oh,
I mean,
sure beats $50 though, you know.
we're about half the size of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper.
No,
And if you
no,
didn't-
no. I've got one right here. Right there. There's one.
he found the jackpot, Ted.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't seen them for that price. Those are the ones for $40 and $50. So
Just do a search for magic coloring book on Amazon.
Now, see, I haven't stepped up to do a lot of magic yet because I'm just like improv. I'm kind of concerned that I might not quite make it work right. I know.
Well, that's where the improv skills come in,
Yeah, yeah. I guess you learn them real quick.
because they do they get messed up sometimes. But one thing that every Santa should have is a pair of the lights that go on your fingers.
Oh yeah, yep.
Those are great attention getters, and you know, a lot of the older kids they are and stuff like that, and they'll always go grab my finger, and it doesn't work because I don't keep it on this finger, I keep it on this finger.
Ah,
And so when they go, "Oh, you've got something in your glove," I go, "No," and I hold that finger out there, and well, what is it then? I said, "I don't know," because the one thing you always got to remember to tell these kids, you're not a magician, but magic happens around you. And I always say, I don't know how this stuff works. I got L's for that.
it just happens.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So inexpensive, simple magic tricks, something
Yeah.
you can do easy. I like that idea because I need to start with something easy. You know,
Well,
Um,
and there are a lot of pretty much foolproof ones that you can do, and that's the way to start, because that's going to build your confidence up into getting into something that's more difficult. I mean, you know, Michael, you're here now. The rabbit one is a fairly simple one. How easy is that thing to mess up?
uh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for remembering.
But you know what? It got messed up. We laughed it off. He moved on. He kept doing it, and it was forgotten pretty much by everybody but me.
And I got
uh,
better. There was only one way to go.
That's right.
very
So-
good.
The thing is, as Santa, don't worry about the mistakes. Don't worry about the things you might do wrong. You're there to bring joy to the kids, period, and that's it. And that's your number one goal.
So, and like you say, if you add a little bit of improv with that, if something goes wrong, maybe if your elf falls to the floor and you have to give it CPR, that was another one for Michael.
I've got a list of mistakes. I'm good at them.
Magician screw up a trick and go, oh crap.
Oh,
I just keep moving.
yep. So, so simple magic. What else? What other topics are people interested in? I was trying to think of a few topics, and you know, something that you could. Oh, we got Lewis. You got something there. Oh, you're gonna have to unmute yourself there, sir.
Hello.
There
Oh,
you are.
Oh,
So,
oh, 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 oh. Any topic we want? And and concerning singing the Santa Claus business?
Yeah.
yep, anything.
Oh, okay. Well, I can give you an entire treatise worth of topics.
Ah, well, throw a couple out there.
Well, oh, 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 oh. Let me think. Think of one for starters. Here's like, hey, the signature laugh. Have
Say,
have you know the ho ho ho?
oh, the ho ho ho.
Yeah.
How?
How do a good one?
Ah, I know that Santa True had an exercise to do. It's the, what does he call it? The chuckle ho, chuckle ho ho.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he covers that very, very well. You know, and that's something that a lot of the Santas could help with. So
I suppose you've seen the Christmas Chronicles with Kurt Russell as Santa Claus.
yes,
And that version of Santa insists to stay doesn't go ho ho ho.
yeah, that's right. Until right at the end, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's the first one.
Yep, that's very good.
Well, here's my rendition. Hold on, let me warm up my voice.
Oh, that's a great one. It's a laugh. It sounds natural to chuckle. I like it. You do a good job.
Thank you. My second thing is the apparel. You know, the suit.
Yep.
Hoot, 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 hoot. Hoot, 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 hoot. Well, a professional Santa Claus some time ago had gifted me he one of his coats because it happened to be my size.
Oh, very good.
It's red with brown fur trim.
Oh, that's nice. That's unique. I like that. So,
So I've been trying to find a hat to go with it.
oh, there you go.
I found a holly wreath to go with it. And I think I found a hat on Amazon to go with it as well.
Very good.
There are-
Options. You have options.
Yeah.
Now, one of the other things that I wondered about was something that I was actually talking a little bit. I think it was, was it Santa Kevin that has done Summer Santa at
Yes.
yeah, that was another topic that I thought would be good to cover is Summer Santa.
Summer Santa?
Yep. The
Ah,
wardrobe.
yes.
It's in July, yeah.
Yep, Christmas in July. That was one of the I kind of written down a few different topics that I thought could be talked about, and that is one that I think a Santa that's got a lot of experience with Christmas in July, could help out, everybody with activities that they would do in the summer, or different photo shoots or whatever it may be. I know, Michael, you've done quite a bit of Summer Santa as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the snowman that you had in one of your pictures with a sand.
My Sandman,
Yes, your Sandman.
Mr. Sandman.
Yeah. Kim made me a Sandman. So I just haven't put him to work yet. He needs to get out and do some work.
I like it. Get him off of unemployment. Get him a job.
That's right. He's got to support himself. So, Louis, yeah. What?
And props. Props. Like a pocket watch, a pair of gloves.
Oh yeah.
That's a key. A handbell. Oh, actually, I have a handbell with me. See? I found it at a Goodwill.
Very good.
I also have this.
Oh, what have we got there?
Is a mead horn.
Ah,
The drinking horn.
very good. Yep.
This would actually be well suited for the Ghost of Christmas Present
Ah,
from Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
yeah. I'll be at the
I
Renaissance
like-
Festival on Saturday, so I'm sure I'll see a few of those.
Yeah.
So,
And did you know that during the Tudor period and Stuart period, Father Christmas would be carrying a truncheon to enforce the Christmas spirit on people.
well, I'm glad that's one tradition that didn't stay. I think it was Ted at the Red Suit Conclave that said that Santa is not a disciplinarian. I believe that was you, wasn't it, Ted?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So I'm glad that is a tradition that didn't continue. All right. Anyone else with some topics that they would like to see at a Santa school?
Cultural stuff.
Cultural?
Cultural stuff. I was at a global market last year for 3 days, and the thing they wanted me to do was share different cultural stuff about Santa. And I think sometimes too, I get people who come through and they'll say something about, well, I'm a foreign exchange student from such and such place, and what do you know about Christmas there? So being able to have something more, or even if I'm out somewhere and it's December 6th and I should have something that I could also have that, yeah, today in such and such place, they celebrate it this way, or just something. But I'm trying to put together material and I'm not finding a whole lot of material.
No? Huh. That would be a very good class. Does anyone have a good idea of where you can find the materials for something like that? For cultural?
I think there's a book called Encyclopedia Christmas. I can go down and get it and show it to you.
Okay. Yeah, because I've looked on different book places, and I've looked on Teachers Pay Teachers, and that's kind of a okay hit miss, but it's not everything, and it's more childish kind of a thing. But
Yeah, and the other, along with that, is something that I thought about was the Legends of Christmas.
is he
Actually,
friendly?
I did
Is he friendly?
Oh, sorry. The my Mrs. Claus and I, Kim, we were at Bronner's this morning, one of those impromptu type of visits. I wasn't sure if I was going to go or not, and we ended up going, and I saw a small book. I should have picked it up. the Legends of Christmas. Oh, what do we got? That's the book that you were talking about. Can't see quite what that says there.
Santa Claus Worldwide.
Ah,
It's a historical of St. Nicholas and other holiday gift bringers.
awesome. That could be a very good resource for you.
That's by Tom German.
It's a great book, but we're your readers when you read it. The print is very small, but it's a great, great book.
Ah, they must
Can
squeeze
you-
in a lot of information.
Can you
Yes.
put that in the chat?
Yep.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm at my grandson's football practice and I'm walking.
Oh, that's, yeah, I was thinking of of all the different legends, there's so many little things because at Bronner's, they had all these ornaments and, Pickle and the spider and I think they had an owl, they had all these different things and they all have different meanings and different traditions with them. And I thought that would be kind of a fun class as well, to talk about some of those legends.
Right. And to maybe have some of those hands-on things for kids.
Yep.
But I wasn't at Bronner, so like I said, I'm needing to find out where I can get that.
Well, you know what? Maybe I can look that up and post it on the website a little bit later.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Here's the book I was talking about, the World Encyclopedia of Christmas.
World Encyclopedia.
It's by Jerry Bowler. Bowler. Bowler, I think. Now I can put that in the chat too.
Oh, very
I
good.
appreciate it.
And I recommend this one too, the autobiography of Santa Claus. It's a non-fictional one, so it's not like the other one's written by a lawyer, so it's very case oriented. This like more fantasy, but it goes through all of the history of St. Nicholas and the development of him and finding his wife, and it literally walks through hundreds of years of history in here.
Nice.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Someone
But since some of you who are shelling out your bookshelves, so I have a one holiday related book.
Oh, now what is this one?
This one's called Celebrate the Winter, from Revels Inc. Inc. The subtitle is Winter Solstice Celebrations for Schools and Communities.
Ah,
Nice.
I had this for quite a while. I also have a Celebrate the Spring version.
Uh-huh.
And it has songs in it and plays and poetry in it. It has school and a community he can use.
Nice.
Who's
Will you put that in the chat as well? The
Sure.
Christmas.
I can't put this one in the chat, but if anybody's got any of Gordon Bailey's books, Gordon in one of his books has an excellent chapter on the history of Santa. And
Yeah.
Tim Cunningham has in his book also a chapter about the history of Santa.
And they're on Amazon also.
Okay.
oh, very good. Very good. All right, so we've got the cultural aspect of Santa. And I had mentioned the legends, about some of the items for, I mean, you could pull those out of your bag and just say, well, this pickle, this is a legend of the pickle, and the spider, you could talk about that. Or there's so many more. I'll see if I could find that. I think that would be a fun class to sit in on.
Right.
Maybe do a storytelling class of Christmas legends,
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
because you got all sorts of those. You got the 12 Days of Christmas. You've got the pickle. You've got, I mean, there's dozens of Christmas legends that you could talk about.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Very good. Just so you know, I'm taking notes here just to capture a few ideas. So anyone else, any other topics? And Santa Pat?
Yeah, just to tag along with the cultural concept.
Yes.
Last year, well, it was actually this year in January, I had the opportunity to do a presentation on Kwanzaa at the North Pole Cornerstones conference that they had in January. So,
that's awesome.
yeah, if you're ever to attend that, I'm sure we'll probably expound a little bit more this upcoming season, but I had the honor of being able to present that to the group while I was there. So yes, that's a great idea.
That is cool. Yeah, I'm that's one of my big goals for next year. I'm working on trying to be able to go there. So that would be good.
Hope to see you there.
Oh, I hope to see you there too. Oh, all right. Anyone else? Any other topics? Even
The science of Santa.
The science of Santa.
Because I try, because I was a school teacher, and so I try to bring in those middle schoolers and high schoolers. And so like I had made a poster of Santa's sleigh, the souped up version of it, and got those middle schoolers drawn in at a science expo, talking to them about Santa's sleigh and, using relativity and Newton's laws and all that kind of stuff. And that would bring them in and they would take a picture with Santa and they'd be doing see, I talked to Santa, he's cool.
Oh, that is awesome.
So I want to find more science stuff like that. And also I do research, but I had found Keele University in the United Kingdom, and a lady there, a scientist, did her version of the 12 Days of Christmas using all different science concepts. And she was in front of a live audience showing different science experiments, which you don't have time to do.
Yeah.
But one of the songs she sang was the 12 Science of Santa things. And so I'm trying to get a hold of somebody in the United Kingdom that can ask if that has a copyright or, if I can use it publicly, that kind of stuff. But I can't get a hold of anybody.
Oh, that'd be cool.
They keep texting back and saying, we'll get back with you shortly, or no one's in the office right now. But it's been a year and still nobody has gotten back with me. So I'm like, that is something that I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that. I want that. I need that. So I'm always looking for more science stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Have you been to CPW workshop with Santa True?
No, the only one I got to go to last year was the School of Santas in Branson, Missouri.
Oh, and that's a good one to go to.
And I haven't been able to afford to go to anything else. Okay. But I'd love to go to more.
I understand that. I saw an interview with Santa True where he was talking to 4 different gentlemen. I'm trying to remember the name of the interview. I don't know if Michael, if you remember that, but he kind of touched on, he was being interviewed as Santa to find out if they believe he is Santa.
Oh, yeah. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it was a military expert and a couple other different people that interviewed him. Do you remember what show that was?
Let me see if I can go find it for you.
But that show, he had some scientific details. He sees how many houses per year, or stops at how many houses, how much time it would take, and the speed he goes. And,
yeah, that was part of what she had on hers.
Yep, and that was pretty cool. I found that really interesting.
Yeah.
So, and that could answer a lot of questions for kids.
Yeah, especially those middle schoolers and high schoolers that you want to draw in. And like I said, we went to a science expo where they were showing different science stuff. So here's all these middle school, high schoolers that are just walking by our booth. And I'm like, come over here and talk about science with Santa. And they're like, what? So
that's a great idea. The Science of Santa. That's a
Can I
great
give you
name
a
for a
little-
class.
And I was going to say, and if you want to get into the science of Santa, look up macroscopic quantum cohesion and the superposition theory.
Oh, put that in the chat for me, because you just said that and I went, what? I won't remember what you just said. What?
Well, that's because I use it all the time, and especially with the children. Well, you see, they haven't had algebra, calculus, trigonometry, geometry, and all these other things. And you don't get up to quantum physics and macroscopic quantum cohesion until you get into your postdoctoral type study. So I can explain it to you, but you won't understand. I'm sorry. But
I'd have to have a cheat sheet just to be able to say that.
I'm going to say, what was that word again? Put that in the chat. I love that.
yes, I don't even know if I can spell macroscopic quantum cohesion. But
Let alone supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Oh, but I
even
know
though the
words
sound of it is
longer
really
than
quite
that.
atrocious.
That's right along there with DNA memory theory. Yeah.
That kind of along the line. If you can't dazzle them with your brilliance, baffle them with your BS.
There
Well,
you go.
And
Isn't
I
that-
normally
now that's improv, right?
no, that's well, might as well practice and normally after I go about 5 minutes or so discussing macroscopic quantum cohesion and how superposition theory works and all that, and I basically tell them the long and short of it is you have to be asleep on Christmas Eve or I can't come see you, and that's the long and short of it. So make sure you're in bed by 9 o'clock on Christmas Eve.
There you go.
That's all.
There is a video on the internet that's Einstein's theory of time travel. It shows Einstein and his brother. It's a cartoon type thing in rocket ships that shows his theory of time travel, that the faster you go, the slower time goes. And I'll refer kids to that video, and they'll watch it and go, wow, that's how he gets around the world in one night.
Oh, yes, it's quite easy. Like, watch this here.
I had to do a project in my college algebra 2 class. I had to convince everyone how Santa got around the world in one night. I did make an A on it, so I'm pretty happy.
There you go. So you've got some science down.
Okay, guys, I need mentors then. Mrs. Claus needs mentors.
Oh, we all need mentors. I'll tell you.
All you have to do, Tammy, is ask.
But all right, so we've got some pretty good topics here. Any other suggestions?
Like, how about the many influences that shaped the modern day Santa Claus? So, you know, Saint Nicholas, Odin, Father Christmas, Christkind, and Belschnickel.
Oh yeah, the influences of our modern Santa.
That fits in nice with the cultural and the historical.
I was just going to say the same thing. That can touch on both.
Let's start with St. Nicholas first.
Oh, yeah, that would be very good.
A lot of the topics that have been done that were popular, and I've done something at the Red Suit Conclave each year, the 5 years it's been around, and I try to do something different. And one that I think went over well, but it only goes over well with the first 5-year Santas, and that's marketing. So, you know, you want to touch on the marketing. Another one, you can't just, because everybody's suit is different and everybody has a different look. You have to, instead of talking about the suits and what they should wear, you need to talk about where they can go to get what suits them. Because you got to remember, everybody that hires Santa has a different image in their head of what Santa looks like. And so what works for me isn't going to work for you, Chris.
Right.
What for Michael isn't going to work for you, Pat. It's just a situation that you got to be your own thing. How to develop your own style, your own look, your own, I don't know what you would call this, but I would think it would be called developing yourself as Santa. And I think that's one that has been overlooked and needs to be touched on.
How to develop your Santa look?
Well, how to develop yourself as Santa.
Okay.
Now,
And you know, that,
Chris, I'm giving you the one I was thinking of doing next year, but that's okay.
well, no,
You did such a good job this
I
year.
like that. And I think, I
I'd be
think,
proud to have you have it in your hands.
uh, I think that, you've got your next one for next year. I think it's awesome.
Well, I was thinking that might be one that you would want to consider doing. I think people are tired of listening to me at the Red Suit Conclave. So
Well, I've enjoyed it. So it's kind of like E.F. Hutton. When Ted Flynn talks, people listen. I don't know. Do you guys remember the E.F. Hutton commercials?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I might have.
I know what I know because I've screwed things up thousands and thousands of times. And the best way to learn is to mess it up and figure out how not to do it next time.
Oh, there you go. That's awesome. But the great thing is you're sharing it with others so they don't have to trip over that same rock.
Yeah.
That's what I'm for.
Mm.
And another thing you might want to consider doing as a class is mentorship. When somebody signs up for something like the Red Suit Conclave, have them sign up. Would you like a mentor? Do you think you need a mentor, or would you be a mentor and match people up maybe at the Red Suit Conclave and have a class as to, match up a first or second year Santa with a guy that's been doing it for 15, 20 years and what they should cover over the next year. Things like that. I think that would be an excellent class.
Maybe a how-to mentor?
And a how-to mentor and a matching mentor. Because the biggest problem with the Santa community is when people go into being Santa, you don't realize you needed a mentor until you've been doing it for 5 years. And then you think, God, how much easier this would have been if I just had somebody to talk to.
Oh, yeah.
So plus most of us are old men and we think we know it all anyway. So it's kind of a tough thing to ask for a mentor. We need to make that easier, and maybe instead of asking, just assign.
Yeah. That would be a great way to bring along the new Santas, because they really don't know what they don't know. And I'm talking from experience because I still feel like I'm just, every event I go to, I learn so much, and I was very lucky because when I went to, I first started in 21 and I went to C.W. Howard and I was looking for a suit and I ended up talking to Sam Militello. And Sam Militello only lived, at the most an hour from where I'm at. So I got the suit and it was off the rack, but his seamstress was right there. So I met them over there and they adjusted it for me. And Sam became my mentor. And, it's been great. I've learned all kinds of things from Sam. And Randall, Santa Randall, he's not too far from where I'm at. And I've picked up the phone a few times to call Santa Randall and maybe ask some questions, and it takes a little, like you said, it takes a little time to start to get comfortable enough to call some of the other guys. So if some of the Santas that have been doing it for a while, offer it up, hey, I can be a mentor for you. If you got questions, give me a call. So that process of matching people up, like you say, could be very, very helpful.
Well, you got a couple of hands up there from people.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, Ken and Paul. I don't know who was first.
Well, let me see. Let's go with Ken. He's the alphabet before Paul. So.
Well, I was going to actually say Paul was first, but since I'm
was he?
rolling here. Well, all right. Well, anyway, a couple of things that I was thinking about is, you said you were doing this since 21, and I know folks like Santa Mel and Michael and lots of folks have been doing this for quite some time. And sometimes I find at schools, it's a lot of the curriculum is geared towards maybe first and second year Santa Clauses. And that's all well and good. And, you know, I myself, those of you who know me, I make Santa belts and other leather things for Santas, and I find myself making them sometimes for first and second year Santas. And I wound up, I always do a consultation. I find myself mentoring them. And so, but once you get kind of beyond that, and you hear a lot of the same things over and over again. I often, when I'm back in my leather shop, listen to TNL and all this over and over. And so I hear a lot of the same advice. So a couple of things that I think is maybe as we progress a little more and want to really take ourselves to the next step, something that Michael and Michael sometimes talk about when they're at the Great Wolf Lodge and stuff is they'll go out and say, oh yeah, when I'm coming up with this stuff that I'm doing in my show, and I have this and stuff that I put in my act. And so since you can't go out and see other Santas, I'm wondering, what are they doing? If I was going to myself I was going to go to the Great Wolf Lodge and I was going to this event and he has an act, what does that involve? So at various event types, perhaps we could talk about, here are some of the things that go well at a tree lighting, or these are the things that go well if you're on stage at Great Wolf. Here are some things you can do at an in-home visit. And so have some stuff geared towards the event type that you might do. And then the other thing is, we're all performers. We're all, in essence, acting and stuff. And I've never really had, acting lessons. I've done singing telegrams. I've sang in the Air Force and all this stuff. And I would get a certain amount of instruction while I was doing that. But, you know, people go to acting school for 4, 5, 6 years and get degrees in acting and stuff. So I know we can't do that. But could we have something that makes us better actors and portrayers from someone who's experienced in acting? So those would be some things I would like to take.
Okay, so for acting or theater, I just,
something that could take our portrayal just to that next level. And I think Michael talked about one thing, they had a thing on one there about making yourself big to small. And I really never thought about that. It's like, if you're back out here, you got on your coat and coming up to a child and you start making yourself smaller. It's like, I never thought of that. And so tips along those lines that would take our performance to the next level of acting.
Very good.
Kind of a lot like improv. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I just made that whole question up as I went along.
Well, I like it.
Okay, I didn't really, but I improv that answer.
All right. And that's very good. And Paul, there we go.
Okay, I was thinking maybe we could look into how to handle challenged youth and some sign language stuff as well, which I really should be learning more on, because the one advantage I have, disadvantage, if a young person comes in and he's got hearing aids, I can show them mine and say we're kind of the same, and they'll get along a little easier too. So
I had that down for something I wanted as well, is how to both children and adults that may be have learning issues or behavioral issues. That's something that I know that they do that at, was it in Georgia at
Northern Lights?
Northern Lights. Yes. Thank you, Ted.
Yes.
And we have a Santa here in Michigan that works with, special needs children, and I'm working on him right now to try to get him to do something for special needs. So, but that's one that I am very interested in as well. Mike Hutchings did a little talk this year at the Red Suit about working with hospitals, and that can be very similar. So as far as I was concerned, because, you got a lot of that can apply to special needs people, children and adults. So, because some of Dan, you and I were at, and Jeff, we were at Tiger Stadium this year for an event, And I actually had a group of special needs adults that came up, and we had a great time just talking to them. So, they were excited, and we just kind of took that excitement and gave it right back to them. So it was, I could use a lot of work in that area. That's definitely one on the list.
Yeah, I can tell you, my stepdaughter works with special needs adults in assisted apartment living stuff, and she brings them to my photo shoot every year. And I tell you, the special needs adults, I tell you what, that was some of the most fun I've ever had.
Oh, very good. Oh, good. Oh, it looks like Mel has a question.
Hi, I just a couple quick things. I see
Sure.
we have some new people that haven't been on before, and I'd like to welcome everyone to Santa's Magical Fellowship Group. For those who joined us a little bit lately, we have the amazing Chris Terry talking about topics tonight and what topics we'd like to see at school. I see you looking. There's just one little subtopic that I wanted to maybe have a breakout session on, and it's a very niche topic. It bends to cultural and historical, but during World War II, that was the dawn of when women took up becoming Santa. And it would be nice to hear from the historical percentage how that actually worked, because there was over 80,000 women that took in the role of Santa during World War II. So it would be nice to learn or teach a class on that. And also the evolution of women Christmas performers, not just the handful of us women Santas, but Mrs. Claus, elves, just like a separate history, culture on woman's role, basically. I'm lucky it's kind of weird that I can, this really sounds weird, but I mean, I can go both ways on that because I'm a Santa and I understand the female cultural significance. So it might be nice to learn. I went to one school that did a little bit of one, but they didn't have a chance to do all the research, so it was kind of unique, but just something I wanted to see, but just wanted to weigh in and thank you for what you're doing. And these are all wonderful topics, folks. You guys are amazing.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Mhm.
Any one of these could make a great class. So,
And Chris, if you
Thank you.
noticed, Mel had her hand up when you called on her. She just
Yes.
volunteered to do that class about women Christmas performance.
well, you're right. She did have her
Saw
hand up.
I know where you
Yeah.
live, Kringle. I know where you live,
She just
Kringle.
volunteered.
I appreciate the eyes there, Ken.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. We'll talk later, Ken. Thanks.
Yes,
Louis.
and
Sorry.
Mel has one thing that she can take that like lovely designer beard off and go and spy on anybody's show to see how they're doing it. That's her bonus.
There
I
you
love
go.
We
that.
don't get. Isn't that? Oh,
Up,
A
I'm a
Santa
sleeper
spy.
Santa. Yep, Santa spy, sleeper Santa. Hey, I've been doing this for 30 years and I didn't realize I needed a mentor till 5 years ago. So I love watching other people perform. I learn so much each and every day. So never stop learning.
Very good. Very good. Yes,
Uh,
Louis.
I learned this from professional Santa Claus named Tim Conahan. And have you heard of him?
Oh, absolutely.
Him about Max Factor. You know, the makeup up,
Yep.
up. Max Factor, how Max Factor wanted to standardize Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah.
Because you see, he much of Hollywood were run by families, and most of them were Jewish immigrants.
Hints.
Hints.
Yeah, see, I don't know about you guys, but I love the Santa variety,
And Max Factor made a chart, a standardized chart, for Santa Claus, which was eventually thrown out the window when they did the movie Miracle on 34th Street with Ed and Gwen as Kris Kringle.
Very good. I'm glad it went out the window. That was a long time ago, because I'll tell you, some of the greatest Santas I've seen are non-traditional Santas, you know, somebody who does something unique. And you know, I love it when I see the first time I walked into CW Howard, I've talked about this before. I walked in there and I saw that variety of Santas, and I was just, I mean, I think my mouth literally fell open. I was so excited about it, you know, and I think I know one Santa that told me that if somebody asked, why are there so many different Santa looks? And he said, it's because you see Santa how you picture Santa in your head. Somebody else might look at the Santa and see somebody completely different. I can't remember who told me that, but I thought, or who said that, but I loved it. It's like, well, that makes sense. Well, there's so many different Santas because different people see Santa in different ways.
And another
So-
thing, hink, 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 hink. Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy together.
That might be difficult for some of them because I know some of the Santas that do the Easter Bunny.
We'll have another actor to play the Easter Bunny.
There you go. All right. The other thing I would like to see is, along with the culture and the history, is we really need to encourage, you know, different races to be Santa. Children want to see Asian Santas. They want to see, you know, a Santa that represents them. And I know I talked to Santa Nathaniel at the Red Suit Conclave because I needed to know a Santa that was, you know, that was Black, that I could call and say, look, I've got a family that wants, you know, a Black Santa. I didn't have anybody that I could call. I ended up calling a friend of mine, Sam Militello, and he said, yes, I know somebody. And I got a hold of him. And that's something that we as a group really need to focus on, trying to bring in, you know, other Santas. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's very important, I feel. So anyone else, any other topics? There we go, Mr. Santa Pat.
I don't have a new topic. I kind of want to piggyback on your Santa's presentation. I do sign language myself. I'm limited. I'm not fluent. And how I came about the concept to incorporate it in my presentations because I needed to fill an hour's worth of time at a home visit. Well, ironically, I have a friend who's actually from El Salvador, whose wife is deaf. And so he communicates with sign language to her. So whenever I go to visit, or on some Saturdays, I'd have him FaceTime me and teach me a few phrases, you know, to wish people Merry Christmas. So the first year I did it, I taught a few phrases. The second year I went to the same family and I refreshed them. And so I told them the third year when I come back, which is this year, they're going to teach me.
That's awesome.
So that's a way that I've gotten them to get me booked again for the upcoming season so that I could communicate and interact with them. But
so
she couldn't wait. She's like, yeah, we've got to have you back this year.
Oh, that's a win-win.
The sign language portion is a highlight for her entire family.
Wow, that's great. I'm excited because my grandson has to have another language this year in 10th grade, and he chose sign language. And I'm pretty excited about that because you know I'm gonna ask him to teach Santa a bit. I know
Absolutely.
Michael. Yeah, that's a great.
And it's so funny because I noticed when I said at the Mall of America 2 seasons ago, there was a family that was there, and I really couldn't tell. They were interacting amongst each other. But as they were leaving, I realized that the mom and dad were deaf and the kids were signing to them. So as they were leaving, the dad turned around and I told him Merry Christmas and of course, thank you. And he was like, You signed, and I told them a little bit, and they say we'll be back. So they came to visit me for a second year.
There you go. You are Santa. As far as they're concerned, you that's awesome.
Yeah. So little things like that make a big difference, you know?
They do. They do. And I have really struggled trying to learn, because I've been in several different trainings to get just the basics, but for some reason it is just a difficult thing for me to pick up. I don't know
Just
what it
keep
is.
it simple and practice on maybe 1 or 2 phrases, and before you know it, you'll be comfortable with it.
There you go. I gotta
And make
definitely got to
sure
it.
the phrases, because a story I heard one time of a Santa who had taken one of the sign language classes, and a girl comes in that was deaf, and he did some sign language, and she started shaking her head. And the mother said, "You told her she had a frog in her ear."
That's
Careful what you say.
yeah. Now, see, I could see me doing something like that. Yeah.
Sign language is conceptual, Chris. You know what I mean by it's a concept. In other
Yep.
words, if you ever listen to Oriental people speak, you
Oh,
know, you eat, you like. That's the same as sign language. So in other words, it's not literal. It's not literal English. It's a different language. It's conceptual. It's the concept of it. And your face can they will take wrong signs with your face communicating more than anything else.
Ah,
So, like if I sign this, we are going to the store together. That's literal. That's how we speak. But in sign language, it would be this. Look at the difference in that. We are
that's
going to the store together, and then a sign person would do this. That's it.
that's kind of like my daughter and I talking. She says a whole lot in a little bit of time.
It's conceptual. So when you practice it, think of the concept of the language, not the literal of the
not the
language.
language. So you're basically talking in pictures.
Correct. Yes, that's right.
Yep, you're talking in pictures. And I guess I get confused because I see them doing the letters, all the different hand gestures, and I'm like, there's no way I would remember all that.
Well, and the other thing that really helped me is anything that signs right in front of you is now, like today. Right? So it's now. Anything that's past tense, the motion will go behind you. Like here's a why, yesterday.
Oh, well,
And
that
anything
makes-
that goes forward is future, tomorrow. So
Now that-
just that movement of now, past, and future. So
That-
when you see that movement, that'll help you out too.
that makes sense. That makes it clearer to me.
That's right. So when you see something and you're not sure of it, by the motion of it, today, right? Now day.
Very good. Yes, Louis.
There are what you're doing is American Sign Language.
That's correct.
There's also British Sign Language.
Australian. Yep. And they're all
Yes,
different
yes.
dialects.
Yes.
Is there a, I don't know, I say a common or a something that different signing people or, that, is there something common that they can all pick up on?
Well, if you're in English, you're American Sign Language is what you're going to come across now, and just like there's dialects from down south, you all come back now. You hear there's
I translate for my wife.
There's difference all the way from Texas all the way up to New York, and those groups will have small things that are different with them in their own dialect.
Yeah, I understand that because I know when Kim and I first got married, our bedroom, we had this little bedroom and the window was on her side to close it. and I was half asleep, and I said, "Could you pull the window to?" And she said, "What?" I said, "What did I say?" She said, "Pull the window to." "What are you saying?" "That's close the window." That was a so
Yeah.
yep. So I guess it's the same in sign language. It's Lewis.
How about the different portrayals of Santa Claus? Hus.
Portrayals.
Yeah, like in the movies.
Yeah, I've got a few of my favorite. Of course, it's hard to beat Ed and Gwen.
Yes, from the
That's-
original Miracle on 34th Street.
Yeah, hard to
Nothing
beat. But
if you put Em and Gwen into Richard Attenborough, Em and Gwen and comes out on top.
there you go. I I like Edwin Gwynn myself. I grew up with that, so that was my thing.
I actually own a DVD copy of the Em and Gwen version in color too.
Very good. Very good.
Also own a DVD copy of the 1985 film Santa Claus with Dudley Moore and John Lithgow and David Huddleston.
I have only seen that. It's been so many years since I've seen that. Long time. Oh.
Well, David Huddleston and was perfect as Santa Claus.
Very good. I'll have to check it out again.
And John Lithgow so as BZ, he was perfectly over the top.
Something I definitely have to review.
What? So
Very good. Anything else? Any other topics that you would like to see covered in a Santa school? We've got a great list, and what I want to do is I want to compile this list and actually for the group that I'm affiliated or associated with, I would like to do a survey to see which topics that they would like to see most. And like I said, it's kind of a voice of the customer. So it's all of us and the things that we want to learn or things that we want to hear about. I think that would be a fun way to come up with classes. Anyone else? Well, any other topics do you want to cover? Oh, yes.
Traditional beards.
Oh, for the designer beards?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I can't believe some of the beards I see now. I know that when I first saw Mel, I think that was at the Jingle Joy, Mel. She went in, I saw her, and then she went in and she changed and she came out as Santa, and I had no idea who it was. And I heard her voice, and it was like my wife and I'm like, "That's Santa Mel," or "That's Mel." I couldn't believe it. So those designer beards are amazing.
Well, I bought
Thanks, guys.
I bought from Amazon a wig and a beard separately. Though, and the beard, heard. I made sure that the beard is a quality one too.
Oh, very good.
And the mustache is attached to the beard.
Very good.
And the beard is attached to elastic. the beard itself is it's not too long and it's not too short either.
Very good.
And the wig, I've actually bought 2 wigs. One is white and the other is gray.
Oh, so you can change your look.
Yeah.
That's very good.
The beard itself is white.
So,
now, the wig, the gray wig takes the form of Ben Franklin.
okay.
In style. Oh, it has a bald, old, a receding hairline. Not bald, but a receding hairline.
Well, I can relate to that. My forehead's getting higher all the time.
Well, I'm gonna tell you a little quick funny story about Mel. At the Double J one year, she had put on her suit and was getting pictures made by Trudy, a photographer that we have sometimes. And in the form that Trudy had, it had a box to check male or female. Well, she checked female, and when time came, Trudy walked up to her and said, "I think you checked the wrong box."
That is awesome, because I never knew. She had me fooled completely. Oh.
I also have this.
Oh, there you go.
This is to go with the wig and beard. Hurt. You know, the nose like a cherry.
That's absolutely like a cherry.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got off eBay.
Very good. And Mel, do you have anything to add? Oh, I think we lost Mel. Let me see.
Maybe she can't hear us.
There we go. Let me see if I've got Mel.
She's here.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's
Hey
okay.
guys, sorry.
There you are. No problem. Yeah, I was just wondering, Mel, if you had anything else to add?
No, it's been a very
No?
insightful meeting. Great job. Everybody's topics are absolutely on topic. I'm proud of all of you. And I say all the time, you are Christmas magic. Just look at the examples that you all gave tonight. Chris, you're like the Sherpa of topics, man, with a fabulous beard. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud of everyone else for all your topics. So no, I don't have anyone else to add. I'm sorry I was talking to the machine with it muted like an idiot.
Oh, no problem.
I'm not used to being muted, but again, guys, thank you so much for coming, and I love this guest.
Excuse me, Mel.
Yeah.
Mind if I host a meeting sometime?
Yeah, we'll definitely get together. I got a couple other people in the list that signed up just today when I put that up. But yeah, let's get you on the agenda, man. No problem.
But how can I do that?
How can I get your name on the agenda? I write it down on my list right here, and then I'll get in touch with you. And I think 3 meetings from now is when I can have another guest host, because 2 people just signed up over the post I just put on Facebook. So.
But how's that done?
How's that done? I just reach out to you, say, hey, you want to host a meeting? What topic do you want to talk about? And then I log in, and then I make you host like I did Chris tonight and
Okay.
last week, and then you run it.
Okay.
You got this, man.
Okay.
So, but I'm gonna let Chris close the meeting because
Okay.
he's amazing.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Experiences. Like I saw one Santa school where they get to get in a sleigh and one where they do toy making, so that you can say that you actually do those things that Santa or Mrs. Claus would do. So I think some of that where you might be able to help us incorporate some experiences so that we could say that, yeah, at my North Pole or my sleigh or whatever.
Yeah, some hands-on experience.
Yeah.
That would be fun. You know, just a small craft that you could do. That would be good. Yeah, Charles Howard does that. It's a great event. It's a great addition. So
Yeah.
that would be a good thing. So, all right. Sounds great. Well,
Great
You know,
job, Chris.
oh, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate everybody coming on and sharing some of the topics that they would like to talk about. Because I know I have questions and I have topics that I would like to hear about that I haven't heard much about. And I figured that everybody would have something like that. And, if we can compile that list and we've got great speakers. We've got a lot of great speakers. We have multiple speakers that can talk on different subjects, and you give them just a little bit of time. And if it's something they're not familiar with, they'll pick it up, they'll learn it, they'll study. And, so I was more concerned about the topic than the speakers. Because we really do have a great group of Santas that can cover a lot of different areas, a lot of different topics. So I really appreciate your time and everything that you've brought up today. And I appreciate Mel giving me an opportunity to try to actually, like I said, this is more for me for a learning experience. So I appreciate that, Mel.
You did great, Chris. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
My one last
If
sentence
Chris-
before I let you close. Everybody look in your mirror. Remember, you are Christmas magic. Back to you,
And
Chris.
Chris, if you were an ointment, you would be topical.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
If you were an essential oil, you will be peppermint.
Ah, very good. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mel. All right. Bye, Dan.
Goodbye.
Hi, Chris.
Bye.
Hey,
Bye
Dan.
bye.
Very good.
Nice job, Chris.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Nice job,
I
Chris.
appreciate it. These are some of the greatest people in the world.
Chris, you did great, pal.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. I had to keep sipping water because my mouth gets dry.
It does. It does. I can hear the big old thermos, but
Oh man.
I'm going to stop recording if you're
All
done.
right.
And
Very
just
good.
talk as long as you want.